So I welcome all of you, particularly Chairperson Smita Shukla and DC Mane sir, external referee, for the online viva of my student, Mr. Ruben Bathello, who has submitted thesis on optimum maintenance policy for transit mixture in the construction industry with reference to Mumbai city. And his contention was that the less work has been done in this area, and therefore he wanted to do a real research into this particular area because he belongs to a family who owns some such kind of industrial activity. So Mr. Ruben Bathello is a faculty at Management Institute at Palghar, and he was earlier a student of engineering and MMSCC from St. Xavier's. I would request now Mr. Ruben Bathello to present the entire, the summary of the thesis, which he submitted to the university and which has been approved by the external referees. There is one external referee, Mr. Mujumdar from Calcutta, and Manesar Dattatreya Manesar from Pune University. In fact, this was delayed considerably because of COVID difficulties and all. Anyway, the time has come. Now I'll request Mr. Ruben Bathello to present the entire thesis on his PPT. Ruben Bathello.
Thank you, Dr. Shirati sir, for the introduction. A very warm welcome to the chairperson, Dr. Smita Shukla, the examiner, Dr. Mane, my mentor, co-guide, Dr. Thomas Matthew, and all the other faculty and other eminent people who have joined here today for the presentation, for the Viva. My topic is the optimum maintenance policy for transit mixers in the construction industry. This is for the degree of the PhD in Management Studies under the guidance of Dr. Shirati. Under today's contents, I will quickly take you through the my profile, highlights of the thesis, certain important terms, literature review, significance, objectives, research methodology, optimization model, the analysis, findings, and recommendations. As I mentioned, my guide, Dr. Shirati, and my mentor, Dr. Thomas Matthew, have been instrumental in helping me pursue this PhD and have brought it to fruition today. I registered with the Oriental Institute of Management under Mumbai University in 2014. I'm a postgraduate in Management Studies. I completed in 2009, and automobile engineer, where I was a university topper in 2005. I have cumulatively around 15 years of work experience in academics as well as industry. Certain important highlights of my thesis. Registered in 2014. I submitted my synopsis in 2018. I reviewed around 164 articles, out of which 107 articles have been directly cited in my thesis. My Urkund plagiarism analysis gives 3%. However, it was much lower, but because I had taken the initial pages of the university and also put it in the plagiarism report, 1.5% was added. So otherwise, my actual plagiarism report is 1.5%. My research data collection had taken 2 years, and the analysis took another 3 years after. Certain important terms for my, which I believe everyone over here should be aware of. One is the RMC plant. An RMC plant is a factory where ready-mix concrete is manufactured. The transit mixer is a special type of truck which uses the ready-mix concrete from the RMC plant, transports it to the construction site, and at the construction site it is unloaded for various purposes like buildings, for roads, for dams, bridges, for various constructions. The transit mixer consists of two distinct parts. One is the chassis, which is the locomotive part. These chassis are manufactured by Tata, Ashok Leyland, Eicher, the various manufacturers, and the mixture component. The mixer is manufactured by very specialized companies. These are German companies which do the manufacturing in India. And the entire crux of the problem is no single OEM, that is an original equipment manufacturer, manufactures the complete truck or the mixer together. They are manufactured by two separate organizations. They are put together by individuals, and that is why we have certain maintenance issues which I have noticed in the past few years, which my doctoral thesis hopes to solve. Here in the photograph, you can see the transit mixer unloading the contents into a specialized machine called a pumping machine. This is called as a concrete pump. If the unloading process happens through a machine like this, the process is called pumping. If the machine like this is not used and it is manually unloaded, the operations are called manual operations. Any sort of maintenance which is done prior to a component failing is called preventive maintenance, and any maintenance which happens post failure is breakdown maintenance. Now, the purpose of my literature review was to identify the extent of work which has been done in the field, and also to identify any new techniques which other researchers have done for other purposes, which I can use for my research. In the existing literature, although there are so many articles, I have only highlighted a few of them which broadly classify the kind of work that has been done in the past. For example, by Miniri and Murad, they have done analysis on mining trucks. We've seen a lot of cases where OEMs have done research on mining trucks, but these trucks are single engine trucks. They are less complex and they are manufactured entirely by the OEM. A transit mixer has two sets of engines. They have a far more complex system in them. And that is why there has to be more study which has to be done in this area. The next set of studies which I've seen, which one FAN 2015 example of is, you have a lot of studies which have been done on mean time between failures. We also have reliability studies on single random failing equipment, like the way Ms. Samita has done. There are certain research papers like Adolfo's, which have created a framework for maintenance reliability. There was only a single paper which I found which spoke exclusively of the ready-mix industry, but this research was done in Bangladesh. Sahu had conducted failure mode effect analysis on hydroprocessing plants. So this technique was useful in helping me in my research. Dedam Nohem creates an optimization model, but for a simple machinery, not for something like transit mixers. And Manish Rawat had conducted a study on RMC trucks, but they had a lot of optimization constraints which were there. It was a simplified version of what I have taken up. And even the scope of work was not related to maintenance, it was more related to operations. And Fraser has very correctly highlighted that the bulk of research is theoretical nature. Only 1.5% of the papers published are based on real world data. So based on this, I tried to find out the gaps in the industry, gaps in the literature. And first I realized there's very little real world data for the construction industry. One, because the industry does not cooperate in data sharing. Secondly, the industry itself does not publish any sensitive data. All they will publish about is information on sales, turnovers, profitability, but nothing related to the internal workings or the maintenance or any of the critical issues which are academic in nature. Types of trucks. Most of the research is done on mining trucks and not transit mixers. This is another problem which I noticed. There are also numerous papers on mean time between failures, but they are for simple machines, for simple mechanisms, not for complex interactions like these type of trucks. The location of research. I did not find any literature which had work on transit mixers or construction industry or RMC and MMRDA regions. And as I mentioned, most of it was theoretical. So in terms of significance of the research, since there is very little work done by chassis and mixture manufacturers, this is a brand new area of research, and it is exciting for a researcher like me and for people like me who will come in the future to take up such kind of work. In terms of applications, the work that I have done for a transit mixer, similar work can be done for machines which are complex like these. For example, cranes. Cranes have a locomotive, they have a crane system on it. You have forklifts, you have garbage compactors. These machines which are limited in volume, small in volume, they are not mainstream, but and very little attention is given on them. These are the areas where future research can happen based on the study I've already prepared. In terms of the economic significance, definitely if the maintenance improves, downtime is improved, consistency is there, you have lesser wastage, you have better capital costs because you can operate the same amount of work with lesser number of trucks. And if the vehicle reaches its destination on time without breakdown, you have better life, better quality of concrete, which can definitely help the environment. It can keep the buildings standing longer. In terms of the objectives of the thesis, I have first tried to understand the various parameters of operations. I have also identified the mean time between repairs for the transit mixers and the individual sub-components of these mixtures. I've also looked at why breakdown is more effective than preventive maintenance. During my study, I came across many times where I noticed people would prefer to have breakdown maintenance rather than preventive maintenance. And it was not something which was offhand, it was very mainstream happening across the industry. So that tweaked my curiosity, and I was wondering, is breakdown maintenance really better than preventive maintenance? Is that the reason why the industry follows this? So these were certain questions which came to my mind, and I thought it should be one of my objectives. I also identified various cost time differences across transit mixers, across subsystems, the various variables on cost and time, and finally, how to optimize and reduce the life cycle cost of the maintenance. We'll look at the research methodology. My research design is observational in nature. It is to understand the operational and maintenance activities on ready-mix concrete plants and the fleet operations of the transit mixers. My data is secondary data from transit fleet operators and also from RMC plants. However, I won't exactly call this secondary data because none of this data is published. This data had to very painstakingly be gathered from them on a weekly basis. I used to go down to these plants personally, meet them, get the information through logbooks or through interviews with mechanics and the drivers and the plant operators. And also use data which was published by original equipment manufacturers. This period, I took around 2 years for data collection since 2013 to 15. In terms of the population, the approximate population of transit mixers in Mumbai is around 600. There are approximately 60 ready-mix concrete plants in Mumbai. So based on Cochrane's formula for sampling size, we arrived at a very small number. However, I was able to gather 45 data on 45 transit mixers across 10 ready-mix concrete plants. The sampling technique which I used was convenience sampling. The reason convenience sampling as well as a little of stratified sampling. The reason why I had to go for convenience sampling because in order to get random sampling, I required data. And if I were to take random sampling, I wouldn't get data so easily. As I mentioned, data is very confidential, very difficult to extract. Not all the fleet operators are very forthcoming in sharing their data, not all RMC plants. So that is why convenience sampling was taken up. However, looking at the number of samples I've taken, the number of entries done, and the various tests I've done for checking parametric or non-parametric or normalization of data, I'm fairly certain that despite convenience sampling, the sample chosen is an adequate representation of the population. So I have very little fear on that part, and I'll even show you proofs of how I've conducted that. The independent variables are as follows over here: vehicle numbers, unloading operation, chassis manufacturer, mixture manufacturer, location of plant, the maintenance subsystems, trips to maintenance workshops, cost per maintenance activity, time per maintenance activity. And the dependent variables are maintenance cost, maintenance time, the kilometers covered, and the hours of operation. The analysis tools that were used were in descriptive analysis. I used measures of central tendency, that is mean, median. I use parametric tests like ANOVA, post hoc analysis tables, Poisson experiment, and chi-square tests. I use certain non-parametric tests also to verify the same data which I was doing through parametric test. And the results were very clear that the same result that I got in parametric, I also got in non-parametric tests, which once again verified that my data is a good representation of its population. The softwares that I used was SAS, Statistical and Analysis Systems, SPSS. I used MS Excel and Mendeley for my literature review. So in order to test whether the data that I've collected is normal data or no, does it follow a normal distribution curve, I used QQ charts. I also used the Anderson-Darling test, which is available on the SAS system. The Anderson-Darling test were promising, and the QQ charts, as you can see, it follows the straight line, which indicates that the data is normal. So with this, I am fairly certain that despite I have taken convenience sampling, I'm sure that the data is normal. Let us go to the analysis part. The first sheet talks about what percentage of the unloading happens through pumping or manual. And what was very surprising is the pumping, nearly 50% of all the trips that happen are through pumping and 50% manual. When I spoke to the representatives of these RMC plants, it was clear that 5 years back, they were around, not 5, maybe 10 years back, 10 or 8 years back, a lot more trucks were unloaded manually. But we are increasingly seeing the trend of pumps being used to unload trucks because it is less labor intensive and it is much faster. And if you look at the number of hours per trip, the bottom figures which are given, if I unload a truck manually, it takes me 4 hours 36 minutes on an average. And if I do it through pumping, it takes me 155 hours, 1 hour 55 minutes. So the turnaround time is much faster if at all I have to go through pumping than if I have to go through manual. Here's another interesting slide which has come up. Ashok Leyland dominates this market with 9,000, with really 89% of all the trips that I've seen, followed by AMW and then Tata. If you look at the commercial vehicle sales that happen in Maharashtra, Mumbai regions, Tata dominates this sector with more than 80% of the market, 70% of the market share. And Ashok Leyland has a very small market share. But when it comes to transit mixers, Ashok Leyland dominates this field. This gives us a very clear understanding that Ashok Leyland is doing something really good, something really right in this field as such, in the transit mixer sector. If I look at the cost per kilometer, you will get a fair idea of why this is true. The cost per kilometer for Tata vehicles is approximately 140 rupees per kilometer. For Ashok Leyland, it works out to be only 56. So according to me, this is one of those dominant reasons why Ashok Leyland has a foothold in this industry when Tata has a foothold when it comes to other types of trucks. When I look at the percentage of downtime, it is nearly the same across the board. Mixture manufacturers, now, as I mentioned, the chassis manufacturer is the locomotive part. The mixer manufacturer is the part which sits over the truck. And here, there are 3 players which operate in India. And surprisingly, all the 3 players are German. So Greaves, Liebherr, and Schwingstetter, all the 3 companies are from Germany as such. And if you look at the board, they have fairly decent market share capture in all the 3. Greaves has the highest, followed by Schwingstetter, and last by Liebherr. In terms of cost per kilometer, yes, we see Greaves having the highest cost per kilometer. And not surprisingly, in 2006, Greaves had to shut its operations because Greaves sales were going really low. So the research really collaborates what actually is happening on the field. We see that Greaves is unable to sustain and is gone. Schwingstetter, although it is moderately expensive, is the market leader currently. And it is because Schwingstetter not only provides these mixtures, they also provide a lot of other construction equipment. So primarily because of the brand name and other features, Schwingstetter has managed to get a griphold over here and has beaten the other 2 competitors. Now let's look at the descriptive analysis of the kilometers, the number of hours, and the plant operations. We see that the mean for an average trip means one truck, from the time it loads, goes to its destination and comes back, it takes approximately, on an average, it takes 15 kilometers to traverse. And the median of this is 13 kilometers. I've also taken out the percentiles over there. I will come down to why the percentiles are important. If you look at the number of hours per trip, the mean is 3.32 and the median is 2.8 hours. And if I look at the percentiles, the 75 percentile is 4 hours. The biggest problem that you have in 4 hours when a 75 percentile of 4 hours indicates that 25% of the time it takes more than 4 hours for a truck to complete its operations. Now, this is fairly risky and dangerous for the ready-mix concrete because concrete in itself is stable and has its properties as long as it is deposited in the construction site within 3 hours. So if I'm noticing that 25% of the time it crosses 4 hours, it means very often the quality of concrete being delivered is not of the optimum quality. It is a bit degraded because of this. And there are numerous reasons. Most of the time, if it takes beyond 4 hours, it is because of a breakdown which has occurred along the route or because of traffic jams. On the right-hand side on the table, we see how the distribution of these kilometers and hours are based on the plant location, where different ready-mix concrete plants are located. And if I bring your attention to the plant number 3, that is Cemix Concrete, it shows that the average kilometers traversed is only 6 kilometers, and the average number of hours per trip is around 2.64. On the other hand, if I look at a plant like ACC Deonar, it does 24 kilometers with an average trip of 3.4. And when you look at this on first glance, it doesn't seem like much. But if you look at it in detail, we've come to know that ACC Deonar does 4 times more traversing transportation as compared to a company like Cemix Concrete Research. And this has a lot of effect on the maintenance of the locomotive part of the transit mixer. Means chassis components like axles, engines, clutch, these will have more breakdowns in a plant like ACC, or that is what we expect in the research. Now, when I look at the cost per kilometer across, one of the analysis that I was able to do was from the operations data and the maintenance data, I was able to generate this information of the various cost per kilometer per plant. If you are a transit mixer operating in the ACC plant located at Deonar, you would have a cost per kilometer of 26. On the other hand, if you were operating your plant in Lafarge Kurla, you would have a maintenance cost of around 75 rupees per kilometer. The average downtimes also differ. However, we will look at the statistical significance in the inferential tables as such. Now, here is a very important table which we were able to generate. We looked at the transit mixer not as one complete machine, but as a sum total of 8 separate components. So you have axle, brakes, chassis bodies, clutch, electrical engine, hundi, steering, and suspension. I was able to gather data from all of the failure rates of each of these components. And based on that, we were able to calculate the mean time between repairs. So if you look at right at the bottom, you have steering. Three from the bottom, you have steering, which says a steering system will fail once in 540 days. However, if you look at the chassis body or the electrical system, it shows that you can have a failure in these components once in 92 days. What I've also calculated is the cost that are associated with these breakdowns as such. So the yearly cost that attributed towards axle, brakes, all of these things are mentioned over here. Also the yearly time, how much time is spent on repairs of these components as such. And if you look at the third entry, which is on chassis body, it shows 3,200 minutes per year is spent only on this one component. So there are, when you look at breakdown, you have to look at why certain things are breaking down. And this table clearly tells you which areas are the problematic areas which have to be tackled in order to improve the uptime of your machine. Based on the mean time between failures of all the individual components that we saw there, I was able to calculate the combined reliability of the transit mixer of the whole. Since I have reliability of all individual subcomponents, with basic mathematics, you are able to multiply, get combined reliability. And based on the combined reliability, I was able to put it on an exponential distribution. And with that, I got the statistics that one transit mixer can move an average of 12.5 days without any failure. Now, something very promising and which revalidates my data is that there's a research paper published by Amin Muniri, which I've stated in my bibliography, and he had come to a conclusion of 13 days of reliability before a failure occurring in a transit mixer. So this was revalidating some of the work which was done. And if I look at the inverse of this, it says that on a given day, I have a 7.99% chance that any one of the transit mixers will be broken down. So if I am a ready mix concrete manufacturer, if I am the owner of a factory with the trucks underneath, I can use a simple binomial test to study if I have X number of vehicles, what number of vehicles will be available to me on any given day as such. So these type of studies, this type of research can be done. This part is very useful for people who are physically working on the ground in the future. Let us go on to a little inferential statistics. We looked at descriptive statistics in the past, and let us look at and see whether the inferential statistics is able to support the descriptive statistics. So what we did was we knew that there are many plants who are operating on breakdown maintenance. However, there are two plants which offer a 48 hours preventive maintenance as part of their schedule. So ACC Deonar and Godrej, both of these plants have a fixed time every month, that is 48 hours every month, where they allow trucks, transit mixers to be repaired within their facility. And what we did was we tried to look at, we classified, we stratified them into two groups, and we did an analysis to see whether plants offering such type of preventive maintenance, do they outperform plants which don't have a preventive maintenance? And the results are right here before you. If you notice, ACC Deonar and Godrej have the lowest cost per month for per transit mixer maintenance. And if I look at the ANOVA table on my left, it gives me a significance value of 0.023, which helps me clearly reject the null hypothesis and accept the alternate hypothesis that yes, there is a significant difference between transit mixers operating a preventive maintenance strategy. I also ran the same test on a Kruskal-Wallis test, which is for non-parametric testing. And I received similar results on the Kruskal-Wallis test, which tells me that I used two tests to arrive at the same data, at the same conclusion. And that preventive maintenance is much better than breakdown maintenance. And this is one of the important objectives which we try to meet, stating, which I couldn't understand why the industry runs after breakdown maintenance when preventive maintenance is proven and can be better in general. Now this, in order, I had prepared similar slides like this one for all other objectives. However, that will be way too long to go through. So I've condensed the entire matter into this. I use my inferential statistics to find out what are the effects on cost, which of the variables will affect my cost. And what we see over here is your plant location has a significant effect on cost. Preventive maintenance has an effect on cost. Maintenance of subsystems, each of these subsystems has a tremendous effect on cost. Your chassis manufacturer, means the choice of your chassis manufacturer has a very important bearing on cost. Mixture manufacturer has a significance value of 0.048, which is very close to the border. So the jury is out on this. Technically, if I go purely by what the rule says, it has no effect. However, since it's on the border over there, as I said, the jury is out on this. However, if I look at unloading type, whether it is pumping or manual, it has absolutely no effect on the cost. The kilometers traveled, the hours of operations do not have any significant effect on the cost of the vehicle. On the maintenance cost of the vehicle. Next, I'll take you through how we went about the optimization. I wanted to optimize the interval of the transit mixers over the life cycle in order to achieve lowest life cycle cost. The way in which we can do this is either have a high maintenance interval, means you keep the number of days between maintenance fairly large. But the problem in this is you will have fewer maintenance days, you will have high breakdown cost and but low business loss. On the other hand, if I keep a very short maintenance interval, means every few days if I send the truck for maintenance, I will have more maintenance days, I will have low breakdown cost, but I will have high business loss, because every day the vehicle is not, every day that the vehicle is sent to the workshop, it is not in the RMC plant, it is not contributing to business. So we need to strike a balance between the two. So in order to solve this, we used Excel. I used the evolutionary technique for an LPP linear programming problem. I tried with simplex and with GRG non-linear, but I didn't get optimum solutions. Through evolutionary, I finally got the solution after 4 iterations. The optimization function that I used was as follows, where C involves the average cost of repair of subsystems. I indicates the number of times the transit mixer had to visit the workstation, the maintenance depot for that particular subsystem. And CD is the average cost, downtime cost that any transit mixer operator has to bear. This includes various things like cost of asset, cost of insurance, road tax, per minute overheads, business opportunity costs. All these costs were combined into CD. And IT is the union of all the instances of the transit mixer sent to the workshop. So it's a fairly simple linear programming problem which I have generated over here. And through this, we were able to arrive at this sheet. I will take your attention to the bottom half over here, the second table which we have. If you see, prior to the optimization, the life cycle costs were assumed to be around 38 lakhs 72,000 per transit mixer. So over a 15-year period, a transit mixer would experience around 38 lakhs in costs. However, through the optimization, if we were to schedule 33 days between every workshop visit, we can bring down the cost of this from 38 lakhs to 25 lakhs, which is a significant saving. So what the findings of the optimization says that it is definitely possible to reduce the cost of maintenance through actual data and with the help of statistical tools. The number of trips that have to happen to a maintenance depot can be reduced from 170 to 34, and the life cycle maintenance cost can be brought down from 38 lakhs to 25 lakhs. If I look at the findings again, cost and time, yes, preventive maintenance has a significant effect on your cost and time. Chassis manufacturer has a significant effect. Subsystems have a significant effect. Plant location has a significant effect. We've seen this in the inferential statistics. There were also certain findings which I found on the plant operations. What I noticed was there is a strong correlation between mixture chassis manufacturer and the unloading operations. Means certain plants, and I noticed the same thing even in plant location. What it shows is there is a preference for a particular brand of chassis and a particular brand of mixer in a particular location and for particular types of operations. Now, when I spoke to the people on the ground, what I could get from them is, if you have a same brand of manufacturers like Ashok Leyland and Schwingstetter, it becomes very easy for us to maintain spares and becomes very easy for the mechanic to repair such vehicles. Parts are interchangeable. There are a lot of benefits in that. And you see something similar happening in the airline industry, where Indigo Airlines has only one size of aircraft, that is the Airbus A320. And we all see they're highly profitable in that. So the research also has thrown up something similar in this, that plants which have a single brand of vehicles and manufacture chassis and mixers, that is a single brand of transit mixer, operate much better way. We also find that there is a chance that 92% of your fleet will be available on any given day. We also find high failure rates in AMW on axle. We find high failure rates in chassis, clutch, and suspension for Ashok Leyland. And for Tata, we find high failure rates in electrical steering and Hyundai. And what we also notice is the transit mixer is not one unit. It is a combination of multiple machines that are packed into one truck that we call a transit mixer, and it has to be handled in such a manner. So the maintenance also has to be planned accordingly. In terms of recommendations, what I have is every transit mixer must have a 48 hours maintenance schedule per month. It is very important to choose the brand of the chassis manufacturer. If a brand which is not popular, which is not maintenance sound is chosen, it would cost the owners significantly. Chassis body are major contributors to cost. OEMs need to think about reliability in these areas, and plants located in crowded locations lead to most maintenance cost. Transit mixers should be of a single model, single variant. A custom maintenance schedule must be created, and the schedule provided by OEM should not be followed. We found it very surprising that the schedules which have been given by the OEMs do not match the failure rates that are seen in the field. And hence it is important that we do not follow the OEM schedule. Custom maintenance schedule must be followed. And fleet operators are to be advised on the benefits of preventive maintenance. In terms of future work, we can revalidate this work across different cities. It can be optimized in those areas because the kilometers and the hours of operation may be different. There are new participants in the industry like Benz and Eicher have entered in the market. And also now models have been introduced. So we need to look at this can be future work. We can replicate this with other types of machines. New techniques for analysis like the semi-Markov decision process, which can be used for optimization and for reliability studies. So a lot of future scope is there for this work. I am writing 2 papers currently on two of these areas, and I am hopeful that this work will significantly contribute to the upkeep of the industry, well-being of the construction industry, and for academic purposes too. There are certain specific questions which the referee had raised, but he is not here today, so I will not take it up. And with this, I end my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me a patient hearing. If you have any questions, I am willing to take it up, sir.
Can you hear me? Ruben?
Yes, sir.
इधर से भी कर देना,
Hello?
चालू कर देना.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Shirati sir, I can hear you, sir.
Hello. अरे वो बात. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm Mane.
अनु.
Sir, I can
कंप्लीट कर.
Hello? Hello?
Mane sir, yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, nice
Hello.
presentation. I have not,
बोला सर, बोला सर, बोला.
yeah. I have seen your work. It is a nice presentation of it. The small couple of questions are there. See, when you talk about maintenance, there are two mechanisms which are working. One is the truck which is going to take the ready mix from one destination to another. Okay, from the
Yes, sir.
supply for customer. Okay, and
Yes.
some mechanism for delivering or dispatching that concrete from the ready mix. Okay,
Yes, sir.
when we calculate the maintenance, whenever we talk about maintenance, you are preparing a schedule for maintenance. You are saying the 48 hours and that per month. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How much kilometer the truck has moved, or it is based on how much cubic it is in terms of
Okay. Okay. So what I've done is,
yeah.
I've tried to. So what happens is, it is very the reason why I've gone for this type of optimization is there are 48 hours which are given in the this one for maintenance of the vehicle. This per month, this 48 hours must be done every 33 days. So
No, my question is whether your maintenance, whatever you have data you have collected,
Yes, sir.
regarding maintenance and the breakdowns, it is based on the mileage or the kilometers which has been traveled by the truck, or it is how much cubic meter it has delivered.
It is based on both,
How
sir. It is based on the mileage that the vehicle does. I was able to derive the failure rates. So,
I and you.
Dr. Mane, based on the kilometers and the number of hours, because I had to come up with a model which is simple to implement in the future also. If I give a very complex schedule, it will not be maintained in the field. So the recommendation was give something which takes in the data of the number of kilometers that have been traversed, the number of hours that a vehicle has to go, it has to travel, and based on both these data, you combine the two into a simple formula which they can use. So what the system has thrown out as the output is saying that if the vehicles are repaired these number of days, you will have an optimum solution. So it was based on the number of kilometers, number of hours, and the number of hours of operations. It was also based on the number of amount of time it takes for maintenance and the cost of maintenance. The framework for this was
maintenance cycle. Yeah.
Can you repeat?
What percentage of these companies follow maintenance cycle?
Only very few, sir. Of the study which we did, only 2 companies followed it. One was Godrej and one was ACC Devanath. These were the only 2 which allowed 48 hours of maintenance within their premise. All the other companies that we had seen, none of them had a fixed maintenance schedule. What they allow is, if your vehicle breaks down, that is it. For the number of hours that the vehicle is not available, the billing is on pro rata basis. The billing is reduced for that vehicle, but nothing specific for preventive maintenance.
Okay, so when they calculate the cost per cubic meter,
Yes, sir.
INC, so these maintenance cost is also put for there. It is a part of the cost.
So what they do is they hire out the trucks. Most of the time, the trucks are not owned by the company. The trucks are hired out from individual fleet owners, and the fleet owner gives the truck to them on a cost basis, on a fixed cost basis and a running cost basis. So the fixed cost is approximately around 1,20,000, and they charge per kilometer basis of around 75 rupees per kilometer. So if a truck has completed around 500 kilometers in a month, they will get 1,20,000 rupees as their fixed cost, plus they will get 500 into 75 rupees as their operation cost, and they are minus. Suppose for cumulatively the truck has not been operational for 3 days. So on a pro rata wise, the fixed cost of 1,20,000 will be reduced on a pro rata basis for 3 days. So they will get 1 lakh approximately in fixed cost, and they will get 500 into 75 on their operations cost.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
From my side.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thomas Matthew, sir, your screen is mute, sir. You have to unmute, sir.
Yeah, can I ask now?
Yes, sir.
Mine is, in fact, not many questions. I have one comment to make.
Yes, sir.
That is about the nature of this TC.
Yes, sir.
This is a very highly interdisciplinary TC. In fact, there are so many areas coming into this particular study. Engineering economics, plant engineering, management, maintenance management, statistics, and reliability centered maintenance. So this is a pioneering work in interdisciplinary area. That is something which is to be noted. And I would congratulate your guide, Sridhar Hetty, who has taken elaborate effort in putting all these things together into a good pioneering work for the Mumbai University. Probably another person who is going to take up this particular job after this can extend this work further. It can actually bring very high dividends. That's one comment which I would like to mention.
Thank you, sir.
And
you very
second
much.
is a question.
Yes.
UX is basically an optimization policy for the life cycle cost of a system.
Yes, sir.
Consisting of RCM and DPM and other things.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you are going to extend this particular work for some other area, will you be able to transfer whatever you have concluded in this particular study into a different type of system where the members will be different?
Okay.
And the locality will be different. Here you have taken a specific locality, you have taken a specific mix of equipment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's a very, very, I would say, location specific and equipment
Yes, sir.
specific study.
Yes,
When
sir.
you are extending it beyond, now how much of this one you can extend into that, and what are the
Okay.
basic things you will be extending into the new system? That is the question.
Okay. So what I've realized from the study is the failure rates for the optimization is based on the failure rates of the components. This study provides a broad framework that if at all you want to do a similar study on different types of vehicles in different areas,
Okay.
this is
Ah.
the framework which can be used. This is one of the framework. Secondly, it gives you a hint about what failure rates can be expected in different subsystems.
Okay.
What can you expect a failure rate in the axle, in suspensions, in clutches, in these type of things? No doubt there are certain machines which will fail in different with different failure rates. If we have the failure rates of those machines, we can incorporate that in the model fairly easily, and we can then calculate all of this and provide it to the customer very quickly. So primarily, if I have failure rates and a little data on the operations, I can then calculate and come down and tell you that this is the maintenance schedule. If you maintain this, you will have the lowest life cycle cost for the entire vehicle.
So I suggest that in the paper which you are publishing,
Yes, sir.
you can in fact refer to this and make certain points or certain recommendations as to how this particular study can be extended into
Okay.
some other system in some other location, and it will be a big contribution.
Okay, sir.
I have not seen actually such studies in my experience in plant engineering for about 40 years in NITI, and therefore how it can be extended into other areas. That is something which you can mention in your paper.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Another thing which I am finding in your study, I haven't in fact gone through that part earlier, is the attention you have given to the RCM, reliability centered maintenance, to your TM. You have actually done some study in that particular area. This
Yes, sir.
can in fact be generalized,
Yes.
and it can be made a contribution in the RCM area.
Okay, sir.
And there are very little work is being done in the RCM area. This is
Okay, sir.
something which you can take up further in your paper. In the the contribution in RCM area.
Okay, sir.
And then another comment is regarding the design of the optimum optimization policy. We have mainly taken into consideration the cost factors.
Yes, sir. Primarily cost factors.
Mainly cost factors we are taken into that. There are the factors, so many factors we are taken into consideration, cost factors. And your optimization policy is based upon, basically, I would say that cost, which are the basic factors. Now, you made a comment about availability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How did you actually draw conclusions about availability?
Yes, sir. Yes. I have, sir, the basic assumption is that the if cost is a driving force in order which will help a lot of the fleet owners to reduce their cost, to look at maintenance more broadly. So if we can show them that you can reduce your cost, you can improve your operations by following the schedule, definitely they will be more attracted to it. And as you're rightly pointing out is the optimization has been done in the cost area. We can definitely look at an optimization in terms of performance, how to keep the vehicle uptime on the highest. That will be we can, so depending on what is the requirement, we can definitely change the optimization to focus on that goal. However, in my study, I have not taken up optimization of performance as a goal. I took as optimization of cost as a goal for my study. But definitely, I can look at this for another research paper for future work.
Yeah, good. I got a clue from one point which I mentioned. In addition to this, you said about the recommend preventive maintenance is better than optimization maintenance.
Breakdown maintenance
is better than breakdown maintenance.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So all these things actually come into picture when you in fact optimize it on the basis of availability.
Okay.
So
yes.
You can bring that particular factor. This will be another area into which this work can be extended. So
Yes,
the work which you have done can be extended into 4 areas, which I have mentioned, 4 areas into which it can be further extended. And I would put this as a responsibility in Mumbai University, advise the future researchers to take up and extend this particular work into those areas. And this will be a big contribution which you can make.
Yes, sir.
I congratulate you for the work which you have done, and it's an excellent work from my point of view. I am seeing that it's a very good work which you have put in. The amount of data and the amount of work which you have done is actually so huge. It's not so easy to do for an easy. I never knew that. And the areas as well as the disciplines which you have covered. You have covered about 7 disciplines.
Thank you, sir.
And massive data you have taken and you have done statistical analysis on that. And in addition to that, you have done a good optimization model also, a fairly good optimization model, but that can be further sophisticated, can be more refined.
Yes,
The
sir.
one which you have done, that optimization model is good enough because the data which you have, rather analyzed and handled is so huge that it is not amenable to very sophisticated optimization models. I
Fine, sir.
congratulate you for the work once again, and
Thank you.
your guide also for the work. And in fact, the Bombay University, which has provided you the facility and time to complete this particular work the way you wanted to complete it, and
Yes.
and then approve your thesis.
Thank you very much, sir.
Something which is very good for Mumbai University. It's a path-breaking work for Mumbai University. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any others?
Ruben, no question from my side.
Okay, madam.
Wanted to congratulate you for the good work and a very different thesis topic you have selected. Generally, management thesis on such kind of topics I have not come across. There are rare instances. So,
Yes, madam.
congratulate you for the good work and continue to do well.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you, Smita Shukla. Ruben,
Yes, sir.
one question from my side.
Yes, sir.
How far you justify that this will really do some good, to the industry arising of research work?
Okay. So unfortunately, I didn't have time to validate what I have done with actual field work, and definitely I can take this up for future work as such. I can implement what the intervals that I have suggested over here, put them on a few vehicles, and monitor them over the next 1-2 years and see what is the maintenance reduced in these vehicles compared to the vehicles which have not taken up this interval. This is definitely future work which can be taken up, sir. And unfortunately, with the constraints I had with time, I could not do it in this work. But I will take your point, sir, and I will do it for future work, sir.
Anyway, you get COVID benefit of work from home and a lot of time at your disposal. You can start contributing some articles.
Okay,
the
sir.
future thoughts, what you have been planning from your side.
Yes, sir.
So that another researcher who can think of taking it further, he can always rely upon your new articles which you will publish in this area.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Mani sir, you have questioned him for his exhaustive presentation. Matthew sir,
I have questioned him. Congratulations to Rubino and the guide. Keep on doing this type of different work. Give some feedback, some research is done manufacturing and this type of industry. Help the nation to build. Okay. Thank you, all of you. Have a nice congratulations. Sir.
Yeah. Mr. Ruben.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is Dr. Mulgun.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the good work that you have contributed. My only small suggestion is,
Yes,
most
sir.
of your work is related to civil engineering fraternity.
Yes, sir.
So if you can publish some publications in the civil engineering journal, there are a couple as management, so that the fraternity of civil engineer also take the advantages and the inputs that you have done.
Okay, sir.
So that it will be helpful to most of them.
Okay. Okay, sir. I will, sir.
Congratulations for doing good work.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations to Dr. Ruben from my side as well, and Dr. Shirhati to the guide.
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shukla, madam. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so
Congratulations, congratulations, Ruben sir.
much. Thank you, Das sir. Thank you so much.
I hope to see you doing further postdoctoral research work, extending your studies. Great work, great work. Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I just say some closing statement as such, sir?
Yeah.
I would like to,
Go ahead.
first of all, I'd like to thank my Dr. Shirati sir for being so patient. He was he used to follow up because many times I had lost hope when doing this research. Many times I almost gave up, thinking that this is leading to nowhere. But Dr. Shirati would call me up. If I don't take his call, he would call up my my wife or my father-in-law and then pester them that Ruben is not responding. So thank you, sir. Because of you, I'm here today. And I thank Dr. Thomas Matthew, sir, very accomplished man, gentleman, who gave me the basic framework. And even in difficult times when I was struggling, he would always give me good, kind words and give me very important hints on maintenance, which took me out of the problems. I also thank my wife who is supported wholeheartedly. She's listening to me, I believe now, and she's taking me through it. My in-laws who are who pushed me into this, and my mom who always wanted me to be a doctor. She wanted me to be MBBS, but I think even this doctor is fair enough. And there is a few friends. There are faculty, Dr. Mallikarjun from IIT Bombay, who helped me with the analysis part. In guiding me on semi-Markov decision process, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to put it in. And a friend of mine, Savvy, who helped me a lot in understanding certain statistical problems. And a lot of my friends and family who have been around. Thank you so much. I thank you all the people who are here to support me today and give me words of encouragement. Dr. Mane sir for being my examiner, Dr. Shukla for chairing this entire thing. Thank you. I'm very grateful to all of you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ruben. You have really lived up to the expectation of the research chairperson, and your external referee. And to me, of course, you have lived up to my expectation, even including Dr. Matthew, who always kept on guiding you on various tickling issues.
Yes,
you have really done it, and what you took it as a mission, you have accomplished. Congratulations from my side. Congratulations from all the people who have participated in this online presentation by you.
wonderful.
Thank you. Mane sir, we can conclude. Shubhnita Shukla, we can conclude.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
thank
Yes,
you.
sir. We can
God
conclude
bless
the meeting.
I'll take leave. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's conclude this with a note of thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Shirati. So I'll then exit the meeting, and best wishes to Dr. Ruben once again.
Thank you, madam. Sounds good, sir.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Goodbye. Have a great day, sir.
And Mane sir,
Thanks. Okay. Yes, sir.
your good words to Mr. Ruben Bothello, my research scholar, who has really done a great work in this.
Yeah. Yes. Nice work. Nice work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.